There's so much history that was lost. I went around the world piecing together the missing pieces of Jesus and Mary Magdalene's life together from all around the world, and pieced it together like a coherent story that makes so much sense. Where was he in the missing years? Really, who was his father? Why did Mary flee and suddenly marry, a carpenter, Joseph? There's so much backstory that people don't know. Who was Salome? Why did Salome want the Baptist's head? There's so many intrigues in that story. And then, of course, where did they all go after the resurrection? Like, there's no mention of them again. So they didn't all just run off on a cloud. They moved, they went somewhere, they settled elsewhere where they weren't being persecuted. I put it all together so that people could understand who Jesus was and who his wife was, and the importance of their bloodline and of their mission. Still today, this mission of the Messiah is so crucial to everything that's happening in the world right now. This is all biblical prophecy. As we return Jesus to the side of his wife, Mary Magdalene, we heal the ancient fisher king, the prophecy of the ancient fisher king, of the wounded fisher king. His left side has been pierced, his thigh, meaning his sexuality. So they stole Jesus' sexuality, his masculinity, as well as his bloodline and his wife from him, and claimed that he was always eternally a celibate. We have to realize that there's a lot about the Jesus story that people don't know, and they haven't taken the time to research because they wanted to just go along with the propaganda of what they were told in schools and churches and in the Bible, which has been altered so many times through so many languages and different kings and popes. You can't take it that this is the complete story. Of course it's not. That, maybe 5 weeks of Jesus's life are documented in the New Testament. Well, I documented the whole life story for you so that you wouldn't have to spend 30 years researching to figure it all out. And it's a great story. It's told from the standpoint of Mary Magdalene, his wife, who knew Jesus Christ better than anyone. It's the experience of a lifetime to get close to Christ in a way that perhaps nobody ever does. It's to see him in his humanness behind closed doors. Christ, this name Christ, K-R-S-T, in Sanskrit means son of Krishna, son of God. So it was a name that was given to him when he visited India, northern India. He was given this title, Christ, because he was the blessed one. He was the returned Dalai Lama to the Buddhists who were expecting him in Hemis, in northern Kashmir, very high up in the mountains. The Buddhists were expecting their Dalai Lama to return, and Jesus Christ was that Messiah for them. But he was also the Messiah of what we now know as the Hindus, but of all people who were in the world. His message was not just isolated to any one type of person. And the reason for that is because divine love is not a commodity. Divine love is not something to make money from. It is not something by which one gains followers or attention. Divine love is a moment between you and your creators. And whatever that moment is for you, you should seek it out daily. And anybody who believes in Jesus Christ should be living like this, should be seeking the kingdom. But where is that kingdom? He told us it's within, but how do we go inside of ourselves? Well, first we have to give ourselves quiet time. Solitude is ideal, where you just turn your phone off and you have no distractions, and you ideally spend a little time outside breathing fresh air if you can, if it's not too hot or cold. If the weather allows, then be outside, because it connects you to the kingdom of earth, and so it is in heaven, so they say. And also likewise, the personality of the divine, the body of God and Goddess, of divine masculine and feminine. They have bodies, they have personalities. So even though there's an energy of God which people call, I guess, the Brahman, the one, whereas when people say, I want to merge with the one. So merging with the one is a reality for many people if that's what they want. But ultimately people want to have personal, loving relationships with one another. We all need it. We all crave that. And so until we achieve that goal, we will never be satisfied. So even though we may reach the perfection of Brahman, which is the light emanating from the Lord's body and kingdom, it's not our ultimate destination. So once again we fall back into these everlasting cycles of reincarnation, which are extremely uncomfortable, painful, and riddled with grief. So much love and loss, so much grief in this world. None of our relationships are eternal, and so we suffer. We all want those eternal relationships with one another. We want perfected relationships with one another. We don't want relationships that are based on selfishness. So in the spiritual world, all of these personalities that belong to Radha and Krishna, they're all perfected beings who have entered this divine state of perfection and entered into the kingdom within. We do that by the chanting of God's holy name. Radhe Gopala Re, Radhe Govinda Re, Radhe Govinda Re, Radhe Govinda Re, Radhe Gopala Re, Radhe Mariam. Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas.